I want to have a conversation with you about hitting. Growing up hitting, the more balls that I hit, the more nights I spent in the cage, the better I got. While I still believe in hard work and that is the key to success when you're younger, I'm less reliant on trying to hit one specific way and make hitters fit into a box. Now, should we load efficiently, have timing, have rhythm, and try to maximize the efficiency of movement? Absolutely. After working for 4 years with tons and tons and tons of different kids of different sizes, I stopped trying to coach them the way that I'd want to hit and started to work with them the way that they need to hit. I don't need them to hit like me. I failed so that they don't have to fail the way that I did. And if I make them hit like me, they would just be trying to mimic the things that I want them to do versus maximizing the things that they do well. Maybe the way that I move isn't good for their body types. Maybe the way that my back leg works isn't the same way that their back leg needs to work. All that to say, taking a general dogmatic approach to a large group of kids or young athletes is a good way to fail. Also, another thing is that when I was growing up, I didn't have access to video. Video has created such a different training environment and feedback system for kids because now every single kid who plays on the weekend using Game Changer or with their mom and dad's phone has access to their at bats right after the game. This can create a good and sometimes bad thing because it creates good habits of post game analyzing what happened and allows the kid to maybe notice the things that they're doing that aren't necessarily what they're looking for. But it also creates an over reliance on the fact that we need to have the perfect swing. And what I've noticed is that there really isn't a perfect swing. And even if you have a visually perfect swing, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful. I've had lots of kids with visually good swings and a good mindset, even, who still struggle to apply it in a game. And that brings me to what you're doing in your routine and your preparation versus chasing a perfect swing. So that's when I started to change my approach and decided that instead of finding the perfect swing, we would start to focus on making our training environment the best possible situation that we can to be the most prepared with the swing we have. Less focus on mechanics and more focus on preparation and application. Sure, the mechanics are important, and I'm not downplaying the fact that every hitter needs to do a certain amount of things to be successful. Loading efficiently helps. Getting to a good spot when the ball is released definitely helps. Having a really good path into the strike zone and staying through the strike zone for a long time. I'm not downplaying the fact that those things are relevant. What I am saying is I've seen a lot of really good swings fail in games because they weren't prepared to apply it to the situation that they were in. Meaning that our practice environment needs to include multiple pitch locations, multiple pitches, and also pitch speeds that are going to be very similar to the competitive environment that we're going to get into. If you don't have that as a part of your training process, you're really not prepared when you're going into a game, and you're basically going to be flipping a coin. Hitting is about finding out the most efficient movements that you can make, getting to your spots that you need to get to be the most competitive with the pitch in front of you. Hopefully that makes sense because that's something that I missed out on when I was younger. I thought that if I did these things, that would make me better. Instead, it's about your training environment preparing you for the thing that you're going to face. I'm less concerned about the specific drill or this good drill and the Instagram culture that hitting has created, and instead started to focus on, am I making the best movements I can for my body type, or the kids that I work with, what's the best thing for them to consistently get to a good spot where they can make their best swings. They should be taking their best swing as often as possible because their best swing is going to lead to the greatest probability of success. It does not guarantee success. I have parents sometimes that will see kids doing well and say, hey, what are they doing? What type of drills can I do with my kid? And while I understand the question, it's too complicated to answer with, oh, do these three drills, that's going to help. Because in reality, it's, well, they should be hitting all the time or as often as they can. They should be learning how to load effectively for their body type. They should be finding the things that they don't do well and try to minimize those, and try to find the things that they do well and maximize those. And set up a practice routine every single day, every other day, however many days you can, and then you build your drill set around that. So some people need to do a Happy Gilmore drill. Some people need to do a hook 'em drill. Some people need to do a step back drill. And it's about finding what you do well and what you don't do well, and then taking some of those drills, similar to where a doctor is going to diagnose you and then give you the medication for that. As far as what we do hitting, we need to find the diagnosis of what we don't do well or what we do well, and then we need to correctly prescribe the medicine for that thing. Tee work is a great way to work on repeatability of movement. I don't have to worry about pitch speed. I don't have to worry about pitch location necessarily. I don't have to worry about multiple pitches. It gives me an opportunity to focus on making the same moves over and over. And for that reason, it's very helpful for young kids. Young kids can get better just using the tee because it gives them an opportunity to focus on specific movements and making sure that they get it right every single time. However, can it be the only thing that you do as you get older? If you're going to face 85 mile an hour in the game with a good breaking ball, is the tee by itself going to help us be the most successful in the game? Probably not. So while this might be an important part of your routine, or at younger ages can make up a higher percentage, it can't be every single thing that you do, because again, how is that preparing me for what I'm going to see? Now, in terms of front toss, with somebody flipping you balls 10 miles an hour from 4 feet away to 10 feet away, that allows me to now take the work that I did off the tee, see a pitch coming at me in different locations and maybe different speeds, and try to focus on the same movement pattern, the same type of movement, getting to the same spot, working on rhythm with my body, and making my best swing. Front toss can be important. But can it be the only thing that you do if you're facing 85 at 7 o'clock at night with a good breaking ball? No. Not if we're trying to maximize our preparation. Some kids only hit front toss, go in a game, and go 3 for 3 in the game. And that's great. But I'm not trying to prepare you for that one night. I'm trying to create a routine and a training environment that's going to help you be successful long term, not just for that one night where you happen to go 3 for 3 and the pitcher made mistakes. Live arm BP, where somebody is throwing you good BP. I was lucky enough to have a dad who threw BP to us all the time. He threw great BP, really good rhythm where we could watch the arm, and we could learn to move in sync with the pitcher, which is what live BP on the field does. I can work on seeing a pitcher. I can work on seeing the ball flight off of my bat onto a field, which is super valuable. I know Ken Griffey Jr. has talked about that in a recent video where he didn't like the cage as much because he wanted to see the ball fly. Growing up, that's the main method that we hit BP, or we hit, was mainly on the field BP. But again, 45 mile an hour down the plate, is that going to prepare you for 85 miles an hour with a good breaking ball at night? The answer is no. It's a piece of the puzzle, but it's not the complete picture. And what I'm trying to drive home here by making this content is explain that it needs to be a complete routine that allows you to get off the tee. I'm going to work on the way that I want to move. I want to get to my spot. I want to take the swing that I want to take. I want to feel my bat get here. Then I want to try it off a front toss. Can I do it off a front toss where it's a little bit more challenging? Now, when somebody throwing me BP, can I make the same move again? Yep, okay, it's really similar. Okay, now the last piece of the puzzle, can I do it off a machine that's set to 85 miles an hour where I have a time restraint and it makes me rush a little bit and the ball moves a little bit more than usual? Now can I make all the things that I was doing before, can I actually replicate that off of the game-like thing? That should probably be the lowest percentage of thing that you do when you're younger. And then as you get older, high-speed, tough environment BP needs to take a higher precedent because you're already at a point where you're really good mimicking things on the tee. Front toss should not be a high percentage of what you do. This machine here, I wish that I had access to when I was in high school. It would have made a huge difference when we faced faster pitching. We were really good off of BP because it was the highest percentage of thing that we faced in practice. What I've noticed with kids is that it's not necessarily that they're taking swings off of it, but that they're seeing the speed and their brain and eyeballs are starting to adjust. So I do think it's a vital piece of this. And again, hitting is not just off the machine, it's not just live arm BP, it's not just T work, it's the complete picture of all of this. I'm trying to explain this because I get a lot of questions off of how should we prepare, how do we get better. Know where your kid is or the kids that you're working with are, and try to build an environment using these things and create a percentage, 60%, 40%, 20%, of whatever mode of training you're going to use that matches best with the crowd that you're working with. Hitting is a complicated topic. I wish that it wasn't, but that's the way that it is. I've learned a lot. I've failed a lot. Hitters have gotten a lot better because of me learning. So I wanted to share this with you. It's about setting up the correct training environment for your son, daughter, team, whoever you're working with. It's not as easy as just saying do these 5 drills and it'll make everything better. Some drills are cool, but Instagram has really created a culture of like do this and you'll get better. It's not that easy. It's a lot of failure and it's a lot of struggle and it's a lot of learning. A lot of kids have high quality video now. Use that. There's blast motion out there that's great. There's a lot of great tools and there's no reason to get better. So hopefully this helps. Hope you get better.